Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action, and we are back once again with the Proud Empire. They're going to be taking on the Tomb Kings. This is a replay submitted by our good friend Pharaoh O'War. So we've got, Karl Franz and the Empire up against SETTRA the Imperishable and the Tomb Kings here in the desert. Very thematic. Karl, of course, in the air. We've got the Tempelhof Luminarch, a couple Empire Knights, mixed Spearmen Halberdiers with some Swordsmen, a Jade Wizard, and a unit of Demigryph Knights with Halberds. For the Tomb Kings, we've got Skeleton Horsemen Archers, Skeleton Warriors mixed with Skeleton Spears on the extreme flanks with some of the same in the center. For Nehekharan Horsemen, SETTRA the Imperishable, we've got a Lich Priest Lore of Light, and two Ushabti Greatbows. One of them is the Chosen of the Gods. Pretty good stuff. You can see right off the bat, Karl's going to be coming in and dodging some of those Ushabti Greatbow shots, while the Empire Knights just come for a quick cheeky charge on these Skeleton Horsemen. They will be able to get some free damage in here, essentially. The Nehekharan Horsemen might be able to bog them down a little bit, but same thing on the other side there. Skelly Boys going for a ride as the Empire Knights charge in, do some good shock damage, and then they are going to pull away there. Empire Knights, of course, 48 charge bonus, not the most in the world for a low-tier shock cavalry, but they are very, very tanky with their 110 armor. So yeah, Karl Franz going to come support this fight a little bit. Obviously, he'll do just fine smacking around these Nehekharan horsemen. The Ushabti are firing in here, but so far the Luminarch looks like it's about to open up with its first shot on SETTRA. Will it make contact? Ooh, a solid hit there. And does quite a bit of damage. Of course, SETTRA being weak to fire damage baseline, as he is a Tomb King's character. And as a result, of course, Tempelhof Luminarch doing fire damage. It's very, very good at sniping Tomb King's characters. You can see the Nehekharan Horsemen pulling away here, Empire Knights and State Troops getting bogged up with the Skelly Boys. Another little bit of a hit. I think that, yeah, that did hit SETTRA. Did some good damage, but Karl Franz having taken quite a bit of damage in this fight over here. He's tanking some of the shots from the Ushabti Greatbows. Going to get a regrowth and then pile in with these Empire Knights once more. Now the Ushabti Greatbows, though, have turned their attention to the Luminarch, and you can see how quickly they do damage. They definitely needed to be focused on this thing a little bit earlier, but they're going to change targeting again before it's finished off, which is a big mistake in my opinion. You definitely need to finish off the Tempelhof Luminarch if you have the opportunity. It is a very high value target, has the potential to do a ton of damage. That being said, SETTRA is going to have a hard time regardless, because Karl Franz is just such a powerful melee character. Probably the most powerful melee character in the game, maybe second to Durthu, but just in general an incredibly powerful character. It's going to be tough for SETTRA regardless, but especially with that Tempelhof Luminarch, which is currently routing. Looks like might be able to be saved by some spears there. But Demigryph Knights, Halberds taking a lot of Overwatch fire from those Skeleton Horsemen Archers, but they are kind of taking the flank of these warriors here, so that they can then get back and get on these Ushabti Greatbows. So some very good play there from Pharaoh O'War. He's going to go ahead and collapse here, and yeah, these Ushabti Greatbows are going to get torn to shreds by Demigryph Knights, obviously. But yeah, you can see the Tempelhof Luminarch here was being chased by those Nehekharan Horsemen, but it looks like, yeah, they are going to stay in pursuit. These guys really need to chase this thing off at the very least. You know, if you can't kill it, chase it off. That's just as good. But yeah, SETTRA's going to come over here, get involved with the Demigryph Knights a little bit. He does quite a bit of damage with that single melee attack there. So Franz is going to come over, drop some buffs, stand your ground, Reichland Runefang, juicing up those Demigryph Knights to have just insane combat stats. Of course, Franz himself also going to pop Gal Miraz, so that he can get some good work done in here. So whether he's fighting these Ushabti or SETTRA himself. Oh man, there it is though. Duel of the Fates right there as SETTRA takes on Franz and Deathclaw, and yeah, SETTRA's definitely not taking the positive end of that engagement. Chosen of the Gods crumbling away, the Ushabti Greatbows crumbling away. So yeah, SETTRA's going to go ahead and flee that situation. You can see though that the Nehekharan Horsemen actually broke off of the pursuit here from the Tempelhof Luminarch, sensing that SETTRA's in a little bit of trouble here. They're going to come try and bail him out, but by doing so, they're going to leave him to his fate of getting blasted by the Tempelhof Luminarch on this nice reverse slope here, firing just over the top of the crest. Going to get a beautiful snipe in there. Solid hit on SETTRA. So yeah, things are looking south for the Tomb Kings. You can see we've got a little bit of a Situation over here, Lich Priest Lord of Light, who did get a very good net on Carl earlier, unfortunately has been just bogged down in Empire State Troops and is now crumbling away to Spearmen, so that's really rough. We've got the Nehekar and Horsemen also just getting wrecked on by Demigryph Knights here now, so it's a tough situation. SETTRA did manage to escape, and these Nehekar and Horsemen, oh man, looks like they're going to get netted from the Tempelhof Luminarch there, so Tempelhof Luminarch might be able to pull around. Ooh, danger close here. Might just tap into that guy. Hello, sir. And try and get in range to finish off SETTRA here as the other cavalry are going to come. But yeah, it looks like Karl Franz is right on station to try and protect this thing. So let's see what happens here. Looks like in combat, regardless, still going to be firing. It's a last shot here, potentially. Will it finish off SETTRA? Not quite. Down to about 1100 HP left. So yeah, but of course Carl and these Empire Knights are going to be supporting this Tempelhof Luminarch. Might be able to bail it out before it goes down. We'll see. It itself is getting pretty low, only about 300 HP left, but yeah, those Nehekar Horsemen aren't able to make a lot of contact there, so it's not the end of the world. You can see Halberdiers, Spears have done a great job just kind of clearing through the Tomb King's front line here, so yeah, pretty convincing victory for the Empire, and very well played to both players, but especially Pharaoh here. As a big fan of the Empire, I can say this is a approved build, and you know, obviously the Tomb King player did make a bit of a mistake there in not finishing off the Tempelhof Luminarch, but I think even if he had finished off the Tempelhof Luminarch, I mean, Carl's still so healthy, he's such a powerful character, he probably would have been able to finish off SETTRA even without that HP damage, but it's certainly tough to say. You can see SETTRA's making his last stand here, just raffle stomping some Empire State Troops. Carl doesn't like that, so he's going to get in here and finish off the old Imperishable. Down he goes, and with that, the rest of the Tomb King forces will submit to disintegration, and that'll be game. So, again, very well played to both players. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. In terms of the army breakdown here, of course, Karl Franz just absolutely chatting it up, doing a ton of damage to the Shabdi Great Bows, etc., the units of Nehekar and Horsemen. So overall, very good performance from him. Of course, I am a big fan of him in this matchup. Spearmen with Shields actually did very, very well here. 52, 58, and 110 kills, just wrecking through skeletons. And they are very efficient with their high melee defense for how cheap they are. Halberdiers are a little bit less efficient just because they're more expensive, but obviously the armor piercing definitely helps if your opponent goes for a very heavy construct rush. Then you definitely, it is very helpful to have those Halberdiers. They also, you know, they have expert charge defense. That doesn't really matter too much, as like Skeleton Warriors and Tomb Guard don't have the best charge bonus in the world, but it helps in certain matchups. 58 kills on the Sigmar Sons without taking too much damage. You can see the Empire Knights definitely took a beating, but they were able to get some good work done as well. 33 kills, 2 XP chevrons on the Demigryph Knights with halberds, just absolutely wrecking those Ushabti Great Bows. And of course the Tempelhof Luminarch getting a couple shots on SETTRA, taking some damage, but doing a good job regardless. For the Tomb Kings, kind of just rough all around. There really wasn't any phase of the battle that went super well for them. If he had been able to finish off that Tempelhof Luminarch earlier on, obviously, that would have been pretty advantageous. And then you just got to keep your Ushabti Great Bows focused on like the Demigryph Knights with halberds, for example. I think that actually the build here from Pharaoh was pretty rough because there wasn't really a lot that could deal with these Halberdiers very well. Some Tomb Guard definitely would have been nice here. I think this is probably a little bit of an overinvestment on Skeleton Horseman Archers. 1 or 2 groups is decent, but against the Empire, I don't know if you really want to go that heavily just because they aren't going to have that hard of a time catching them. So, yeah, SETTRA as well. It's probably a decent pick here, but just in general, big monsters can be a bit risky against the Empire. It's tough. I would definitely say this is a pretty tough matchup for the Tomb Kings. But you can certainly do some different things. You could take SETTRA potentially on foot. You could take Khalida and just kind of hang back, use your missile support. Arkan the Black's also not too terrible here. You could also use Grand Hierophant Kotep. But yeah, let's just stick with SETTRA for now, and we'll put him up on the Sphinx just for fun. Actually, you know what? I might say the Chariot of the Gods. It is substantially faster, so you might be able to dodge some of Karl Franz's attacks. So yeah, we're actually going to take Chariot of the Gods. I'm going to take just the cheapest 2 spells to give physical resistance and armor piercing damage. And then from there, front line probably is pretty decent to just grab some skeleton spears, skeleton warriors. I'm going to grab a couple tomb guard as well. The Shabti Greatbow is not a bad idea. I'm just going to get 2 regular versions though, rather than upgrading to the Regiment of Renown. Carrion are a must pick in pretty much every matchup in my opinion. You just need these guys to be able to get in and tie down units. They have good melee defense, so they're very cost effective at doing so. Nekar and Horsemen aren't a bad idea, certainly, so I'm going to grab a couple of them, and then from there we can maybe even grab a couple Skeleton Horsemen Archers, just for a bit of mobility. So a little bit less heavy in the mobility, a little bit heavier in the front line, and some additional just kind of tie-down units. The Carrion can go in. If you give them a bonus versus large, like by overcasting this Cursed Blades, for example, you can give units a plus 16 bonus versus large. So something cheeky you can do, for example, is to run in these Carrion, swarm the Tempelhof Luminarch, because it counts as a large target, obviously. You give them that bonus versus large, and suddenly they will just tear that thing to shreds. Even with their lowish melee attack, because of course that bonus versus large does apply to their melee attack against appropriate targets. So yeah, that would definitely make them a lot better at taking down those units. I actually have used that to good effect to take down, like for example, like a sorceress on a Dark Pegasus, or you know, other similar such targets. But Tempelhof Luminarch is a target that would be pretty viable against. If we go ahead and have a look here, I don't remember the armor value of the Tempelhof. Only has 40 armor, so yeah, it's going to get torn to shreds pretty quickly by those Carrions. So I do think that could potentially be one way of dealing with it. But anyway, very fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.